Okay, this is how to set up your pattern area, pull a pattern, and run it for a single row. On the left-hand side, you have a bunch of different icons. We're going to go to the layout, so it looks like a letter L. Okay, and the screen will look like this if you haven't set anything up. Notice that this side is purple, or kind of this fuchsia pinky color. That means you're in the layout section. It tells you move your machine back left corner of your quilting area, press the plus button. So I have moved my needle to the back left, and I go just outside the top and just outside the top. On the screen, I'm going to hit the plus. Now it says move your machine to the front right corner. So now I take my machine and I bring it all the way over to the front right corner. For me, again, I go just outside. You can see my basting. I bring it to the bar, and then I move it away about a half an inch. It sounds weird, but if you do that, then you're giving yourself some extra space once it's rolled up. I hit the plus button. It's telling me that my table width is 83, almost 84, and my height, which is forward back, is 16.5. Okay, your screen will look like this. The blue crosshairs obviously are where you are in relation, the needle, to the whole entire thing that you're setting up. Now, the orange box is your pattern area, or that's where your quiltable area. So you want to go over here to patterns. Oops. Notice when I click on the patterns, the right side doesn't really have a color. Okay, it just shows all of the patterns. I know specifically which one I'm looking for, so I'm going to type it in. If you touch it, you can type in, this is bubble border is what I'm looking for, but as long as you have 3 letters, you can hit the checkbox. That's what I want. I touch it, and now off to the right-hand side, I hit the green check mark. This is their suggested size. Notice it is tiny, and it bops you when you pick it already to the Edit tab. On the left-hand side, we're in the Edit. On the right-hand side, you see it's green. Green means you are editing or changing your pattern. What I want to do is I'm going to actually elongate this pattern. So you can, if you want to zoom in, you put both fingers down and zoom in, but you have to pull it on the screen, move it where you want. When you zoom in and you see these little squares, each of those squares is 1 inch by 1 inch. That way you can know that this big circle here is 2 inches. Your tiny circle is not even, is like half an inch. Way too small for me. When I touch that design, I have all sorts of boxes or circles around the outside edge. You can grab one of them and stretch it to whatever you want. On this one, I want these to look like ovals, so I am planning to truly stretch it, kind of crazy stretch it. This means that this top one will be about 3 inches tall by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches long, which I think is probably a good size for this quilt. If I like this size, which I think that's good, now I'm going to go to the left-hand side. I'm going to duplicate this. So this top button lets me duplicate horizontal and vertical. I will tell you right now, only do horizontal. Only do horizontal. Your vertical won't always line up or stitch out nice, so only do horizontal. I'm going to hit my plus, and it should automatically take my green circle, my start, and connect it to the end of the red. So here, the red square is where it's going to end. Now the next one, if I add another one, it just adds it on exactly where it should be. So I am going to run this as far as I can to the outside, and then I'm going to uncheck this on the right-hand side. That means that I'm out of this on the bottom here, so I can stretch it. I'm going to zoom in just a tad. I can touch it, and I can stretch it even farther to fit my size. When I have this all figured out, and you put it on the screen, notice that this is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm only 6 inches tall here, which honestly is okay. When you're doing a single row, you want to, whether it's a big full row, you can fill this whole area, but you don't have to. This is just saying that this is your quiltable space. For you starting out, I would try just 1 row. I'm going to make this 2 rows, but I would try just 1 row. We can talk about more of these over here, but when I do this and I multiply, I want to do these 2 squares to 1 square button. This is making this one big long piece. Start with my green circle over there, end with my red square over here. So it's going to stitch from start to end. The next thing I do, this sounds weird, but when I like where I'm at, I make sure all of the sizes, make it big, small, whatever. If I want to make it big, I can just grab this and pull it to do whatever I want to do, right? You can also, if you need to move things, this all arrows, the second one down, you can move it just a tiny bit, tiny bit, tiny bit, tiny bit, or all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top, tiny bit, tiny bit, tiny bit, okay? Also move it left and right, tiny bit, tiny bit. The other thing that you can do too is if this all arrows is checked, you can touch anywhere on the pattern and move it, where normally in order to do that, you have to get your finger on that green circle in the middle. Green circle in the middle without the all arrows is how you move the whole pattern. With all arrows, you don't have to worry about the green circle, you can touch anywhere. This red is a twisty, okay? I don't use that unless I am doing some custom type stuff because getting it back to be truly in line, as you can see, is a problem. So I'm going to undo it to get it so it fits like I want it to. When I get the size how I want it, I want to save this pattern. I'm not saving the layout. I'm not saving the orange box. I'm saving my multiplying of this circle stuff. So I go to what looks like a little floppy disk. And now it's saying save as. I can name it. I like to name it by date. So it is the 22nd today. And then I hit the checkbox. Now that is saved inside your patterns, so you can pull it up if you don't get it all done today. Also, if something goes glitchy on your machine, now you have a pattern saved. So this is a really important step. I would encourage it. Once you have this done and ready, then you go over to the home. The home is this dark purple color, is what it is. So on the home, in order for you to stitch, SPI is stitches per inch. These are your channel locks. We can talk about that later. Your little hearts are your nesting. We could talk about that later to get it nested just right. Your green circle means you're ready to do something. Your red circle is a stop. The needle, if you want to stitch, then you need to depress the needle to say, yep, I'm ready. I'm going to hit the green circle, and it says, machine will move to the start of the pattern block, meaning that green circle at the far side, it's going to move all the way over there. And the pattern will start. Make sure the needle is up. Then we have these options under here. I usually will use the set start if I run out of thread, or the checkbox to start at the very beginning. I want to start at the beginning. I'm going to hit it. My needle is up. And now it will move all the way to the beginning, or it should move all the way to the beginning. And mine does a single stitch to pull up your bobbin thread. Once that single stitch is done, then it's going to prompt you on the screen to do some other things. So here I'm just going to let it get to where we need to. Right around here is where I grab my thread. Okay, it's telling me pull up bobbin thread and press OK. So I'm going to just move this, pull up my bobbin, grab both tails, and then you don't even have to move it back. You should be able just to hit the checkbox. It's going to lock stitch for you. Stitch, stitch, stitch. And here it goes. stitching out the design. And it should go all the way from the one side to the other. There is your intro, how to set up a thing and how to get it ready for you to do. Go team, you can do it. It'll be great. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.